When The Cat Lady came out in 2012, it quickly garnered an avid cult following, making it one of the most successful indie titles in the following year. It also caught my attention pretty much right away, as many people recommended this grotesque and unconventional psychological horror adventure to me, and it was apparent at first glance that The Cat Lady was a game that was made by a small, passionate team whose work screamed labor of love all over. From the mind of someone who grew up with classic adventure games, Silent Hill, and a love for the gothic subculture came a take on the point-and-click adventure rendered with a strikingly weird and unique art style and an unmistakable underdog charm. For someone like me, what's not to love? Now, I gotta admit that I was initially a bit on the fence about even trying it out, and that has a specific reason. The gaming press, or rather how the game was talked about at the time. The ratings were great, but so many reviews and articles on The Cat Lady at the time seemed to sensationalize the game's more sensible themes, especially the fact that the game starts with the literal suicide of the protagonist, a little too much for me not to be a bit wary. Now, pointing out how the gaming press sensationalizes sensible themes in a video game for exposure is about as groundbreaking as pointing out that the Earth is not flat. But in all honesty, it was what kept me initially from giving The Cat Lady the chance it deserved, as I subconsciously projected, expecting the game to approach the topic of suicide and suicidal depression with a similarly problematic and exploitative mindset. But you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because when I eventually played it, of course I found out that I was wrong about it. Very wrong. The Cat Lady quickly became one of my favorite adventures of all time. And yes, this list includes all the good old LucasArts classics I won't ever stop raving and being nostalgic about. And even though there are many, in my eyes, genuinely admirable aspects about it, ultimately, it was exactly the way this game deals with heavy, sensitive, and deeply controversial topics in media that turn it into more than just an ordinarily enjoyable video game story in my eyes, because it started to mean something, to me personally, and I respected it a lot for that. The Cat Lady is written with a genuine understanding of topics that most video games won't even touch with a 10-foot pole, let alone manage to treat with respect and empathy without fucking it up. It's a game about things like suicidal depression, trauma, abuse, social anxiety, and it manages to weave these themes into its narrative with a degree of awareness and respect that can only come from someone who experienced this in their own lives in some way, and with a rare degree of curious attention, while at the same time avoiding to come across as a preachy, condescending lecture on said problems. It achieves it through a genuinely grotesque, creepy, emotional, and kick-ass psychological horror tale.